I told you guys the Snyder Cut was real. Are we ever gonna get an Avatar sequel? Of course I'm still waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning for the Falcon and the... Okay, stop. Boy, I really gotta stop thinking out loud. This noise thing is really crazy. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review, and today I'm diving into Chaos Walking, the latest sci-fi film starring Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and Mikkelsen. It's directed by Liman, who also directed Edge of Tomorrow. Before I get started and tell you what I liked and didn't like, guys, I want to say a huge thank you to Lionsgate for giving me the chance to review this early. If you guys don't know much about this film, it is based on the first of 3 books in a trilogy. That book title is The Knife of Never Letting Go. Let me know below in the comments if you've read this book, because I definitely have it. Now, for the non-book readers like myself, this film is about a dystopian world where there are no women and all living creatures can hear each other's thoughts in a stream of images, words, and sounds called noise. See, it's that concept that reeled me in. The trailer was okay, but it really is Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley playing in a sci-fi film like this. Man, I couldn't wait to watch it. Now, before I tell you if I liked it and if I didn't like it, guys, if it's your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I talk about movies early like this all the time. So if you don't want to miss out, go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on the bell so you'll be the first one in the comments. Smash that like button, and speaking of comments, guys, when you see this, let me know what you think. It's in theaters March 5th, so if you can safely get to a theater, I'm curious to know whether you guys liked it or if you didn't. Alrighty guys, well let's dive right into the positives, because of course we like to be optimistic here on the channel. Now I know I said I'm getting into the positives, but I gotta give you guys some context for this movie before we do. Principal photography was done in 2017. It was supposed to release in 2019, but then got delayed because of reshoots and poor test screenings. That's gonna matter as we get to the negatives. Alright, let's get into the first positive. And right at the top of the list is this concept. Man, I feel like the story is very intriguing, and it's incredibly unique because I've never seen a sci-fi movie quite like this. Everything about this really just made me want to know more. It's mysterious, ominous, and there's definitely something else underneath the surface that I wanted to discover. And the fact that only men have this noise and women have mysteriously disappeared made me want to know more about this new world that we find ourselves in. And the noise looks awesome as well. I was curious how they'd implement that into the movie, but even from the trailer, it looked really cool, and I think the visual effects there are probably the strongest, and I'm telling you guys, if that was reality, we'd be in trouble. But it's not the visual effects that are the strongest part of this film, guys. The movie is at its strongest when focusing on Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, who work with the script the best way they can. So once you get past the pretty effects, guys, I really enjoyed our time with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley when they were going out and surviving on their own. Those are the moments in this movie that I was really locked in and thought, okay, it's turning around. And I love that both of them were able to learn from one another. So when we look at Tom Holland, who plays Todd, an orphan who has trouble controlling his noise and is constantly seeking validation as a man, he is a layered character. This is one character that I was actually hoping they might dive into a little bit more. They did give him most of the spotlight, and we do learn about his family and his mother. It is incredibly interesting, guys. But for me, I thought that maybe this is a character that has a sort of arc to it. Not many characters in this movie did, and we'll talk about it, but I did like what Tom Holland did with this character and giving him a wide range of emotions. He went from being full of false confidence to always wondering if he could live up to the standards of being a man in this new world. And then there's the wonderful Daisy Ridley, who plays Viola, a woman born on a ship that crash lands onto New World itself. And I really love what they did with this character as the film went on. At first, I was a little worried. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I feel like they didn't write her into the story very well. It almost feels like the movie was doing her a disservice, because Daisy Ridley is an incredible actress, but I was almost at the beginning wondering if they were going to squander this opportunity. And there is an unrealized dynamic between these two that I wish the film explored more than trying to shoehorn in multiple storylines and characters that were otherwise uninteresting. So as you can tell, guys, I'm starting to get into the negatives a little bit, so what I will tell you is those are the only positives that I had from this movie. The rest, guys, these are things that just don't work with this film. And that's starting with the identity of the movie itself. If you told me this was a Liman movie, I wouldn't believe you. Sadly, this is probably his weakest film that I've seen to date. It's definitely a departure from what worked in Edge of Tomorrow, a solid story, an engaging concept, and some incredible action. We don't get any of that in Chaos Walking. Narratively, this film is trying to pack in way too much in just an hour and 49 minutes, and the writing for our characters is completely flat. One word that came to mind right when the end credits ran was uninspired, and honestly, that is the best way I can sum up this film. I was willing to excuse the first 30 minutes, which were admittedly rough to get through, but sadly everything is uneven from that point forward. And none of the action worked for me either, and I thought at the bare minimum this movie needed to capitalize on that. There's one cool action sequence where we see Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley trying to escape the mayor, who's played by Mikkelsen, and that chase sequence was shot pretty darn well, and I thought, oh, this is a Doug Liman movie. But everything else, it didn't work for me. And then when you look at the cast itself, it's stacked, from our leads to our supporting actresses and actors, yet they were all wasted. Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley do the best job again with the script that's given to them, but the characters and the way they were written in this movie just had little to no impact. They didn't resonate with me, and none of the supporting cast did either. I mean, you have Mikkelsen, who is wonderful, playing our antagonist alongside his son, played by Jonas. Both of them were unfortunately generic, two-dimensional kind of characters. These were villains that had no sort of arc to them. They were just placeholders for the plot, and they just honestly wanted to move everything forward. All of their conversations were about moving the plot forward. We didn't get any genuine moments with them. And the list goes on, you guys. You have the wonderful David Oyelowo, who plays a religious extremist and is responsible for one of the more head-scratching moments in a river that was totally unnecessary. And then I look at the list here, Cynthia Erivo, and even Damian Beechard. I mean, everyone involved feels like they should have had a bigger impact on the film, but I think it's the script and the direction that really held them back. And then there's the issue with the concept of the noise itself. Y'all, we have to talk about this. Yes, it looked pretty, but I was so darn annoyed with the sound mixing here. Technically speaking, even in the first half an hour, I had trouble understanding anything that any of our characters were thinking out loud. And it wasn't just me. I spoke to some of my colleagues, and they couldn't understand it either. So you know what? It's not just my TV. Guys, I could not understand a lick of what they were saying, and that's a huge issue. It's incredibly distracting, and no, it doesn't get better as the film moves along. I mean, the world building overall could have been much more layered and handled with care, but this is one world that never made me want to stay. And at the end, you can clearly tell that they're trying to hint towards a sequel. Again, this is the first of 3 books, so of course they're going to want to hint at the continuation of the story, but it's never earned. I've seen this before in sci-fi movies. There's a huge build-up, we get to the final scene, and cliffhanger. The movie itself never made me once yearn for a sequel. If we get one, okay, sure, I'm gonna watch it. But this movie doesn't motivate me to even want a second installment in a series that has potential to be incredibly interesting. So overall, you guys, Chaos Walking is a missed opportunity. This is a story ripe for some wonderful storytelling, but none of it was executed properly. What was a solid concept was instead turned into a giant mess, and that's due to the script, the writing, the direction, even the action wasn't engaging. And then the one thing that worked in this film, our 2 leads working together to survive, they strayed away from that because they tried to add in too much to this plot that instead made it feel very bloated and definitely uninspiring. And me being a non-book reader, man, this movie does not make me want to go and pick up the novel to see if it's better, because I just don't know if I want to play in this world anymore. So it's sad to say, but Doug Liman has struck out with Chaos Walking. This is a movie that is a big miss. I wanted it to be good. I was rooting for this film. I love a good sci-fi movie, and honestly, with Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley, dude, count me in. But unfortunately, it's just wasted. So between the production troubles, the reshoots, and the delays, that's a recipe for disaster in many films. And for Chaos Walking, yeah, that's the result we get. So there you have it, you guys. That's my real review of Chaos Walking, a movie that I was hoping would be better than what it was. But again, it's just a miss for me. Hey guys, I want to know what you have to say about it though, so get loud in the comments below and let me know. Did you enjoy this movie? Do you agree with me? Do you not like the film? Let me know in the comments below, guys. And if you haven't already, smash that like button and the big red button below and tap on that bell so you stay subscribed to the channel and you get notified when I drop reviews like this. We got Coming to America this week. I got my WandaVision finale reaction. We're ranking every WandaVision episode this weekend. It's about to be a fun time, and I'm also going to be pretty exhausted, but it will be worth it for you guys. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.